left click, it's going to place down your first nature path. And as you can see, it looks trampled. It's got like some leaves or dirt or debris on there, which high traffic area, most likely you'd have that. But then maybe after a couple steps, it kind of goes away, and now you've got just a nice grass path. And then maybe you got another high traffic area over here, but no more fence. It's just marked with these little tree stumps. But again, high traffic area, and we can connect this back in and loop it around if we want. Holding down Z again will give us this more control into how it looks, and then we can also do grid building this way as well. So if we wanted to have square paths for nature, we could. Which I think looks a little wonky. I like the rounded ones a little bit better. And then if you right click here, you'll see what just happened. So now I have the option to have a perfect circle path, if you will, but it doesn't connect to here, and that's because we didn't build this on the grid. This one we did, this one we did not. Can we still connect them? Absolutely. So one way to do that is, first of all, though, I want to make this a little bit bigger of a circle. So we're going to make the deselect the grid. Let's make this a 25. We're going to select the grid. Let's select it off of here, but we're actually going to start it. Oh, you know what? I forgot. It doesn't let you select the width, so it's going to be the same width all the way around, but we're going to make this a little bit of a wider, not a rhombus. We want to make this a circle. So let's see if we can make this into more of a circle here. How do we do that? I just got to figure out my math skills real quick. Let's see. Okay, so if we do it like this, and then we do 4 on that side, and we do like 4 right there, it's going to be another rounded square. So let's not do that. Let's not do it that way. Let's just do a circle there. We'll do a circle down here, and we'll do a circle up here. So then we got these 3 circles of. And we'll do one more over here. And we're going to get rid of that because it's not even now, and it's going to drive me crazy. So then we'll put it over here like this. Okay, so now we got 4 circles, and we want to connect them somehow. So one way we can do that is we can either just connect it right in like that, but I want to turn my path size down. And I think I want to actually come in like right off the. Maybe I'll connect this end over here, and we just want to connect it in like this. But again, have it snap to give it a much cleaner line with holding down Z. That's going to give us a much cleaner line for that path there. And then same thing with this side, holding down Z is going to give us that snap to and give us a nice straight symmetrical line. Again, holding down Z here in the middle is going to connect us in a little bit better, but we want to first try to line this up just a little bit more than what we did. And holding down the control key will prevent it from snapping, and I think we want to start it about there. And there we go. And then we'll come out here and build it in just like that. So now, again, we've got some more precise control over how our paths look. We can get some pretty intricate designs with the path building tools within the game. And get us some really nice geometrical patterns. And I think this was at 20. I think maybe it was a little bit bigger than that. 24, maybe. No. Okay, let's take that out. I think it was 20. And I actually started building this at an angle. As you can see, this is not centered correctly because of it being at an angle. So of course, it's not going to connect and be a perfect centered area. Okay. So now, what can we do with this stuff here? What can we do to, I guess, utilize this space? So first of all, you're going to notice that the ground is a little uneven in terms of its textures and what it looks like. Easy fix. If we go into our terrain tool, we go to our painting option. We have the option to put down some worn elements. So if we put down, and I wish that it gave you a little bit more of a description of what the material was versus just kind of trying to have to figure it out. It's more of like a rocky texture, but that's the one we're looking for, is that one there, kind of a straw, I guess leaf or debris type of an area. And we just placing it down, left clicking to place it down, gives us a little bit more of an area here to work with. And then maybe we want to go ahead and just blend in some of this texture I guess it's like grass with like some weeds or flowers or something, just so it doesn't look as painted on, and you can get a little bit more intricate with your design. Change the size of it up to get even more intricate if you want. Make it smaller, more accurate, more pinpointed. Intensity obviously is going to put down a really sharp, sharp line. Like right there, we got this really sharp line. So maybe we want to go through here and just have these paths be completely green, which we could do with this texture, just as an example. And we can get them really small with this size brush, or we can go back into our brush sizes and change the brush sizes up as well, so that we can work a little bit smarter versus a little bit harder. It's always good to work smarter, not harder. So let's go ahead and increase that size a little bit. That's a little bit too big. Let's go back down to 18. So there we go. So that's pretty close to our circles that we've already placed. We're just gonna put them right there in the middle. And again, we're just trying to make these a little bit more unified and look a little bit more planned than random. And then we'll go back to the size to work the inside area of the path here. And again, just want to connect these and have it look like, hey, this is kind of like planned. We wanted this to look really nice and green for our guest, but off to the side, kind of got this leaf texture with this debris, and that can actually look really cool when you put trees down, because it looks like they're shedding their leaves, and just adds to the realism. Gives it a different look. Gives it something unique. Oops, we're going to undo that last one right there because I went a little too crazy off to the side, which is, yeah, again, the undo button is amazing. So yeah, so I am not going to spend the next 20 minutes just doing airbrushing on this path, so we're just going to stop it right around here. There we go. Good enough for now. So we just made this into our own little pattern, our own little structure. We started off with a certain path type, which put down a texture already, but then we decided that we wanted to change the texture, and we were able to do that with the terrain tools. And again, we'll get more into the advanced terrain editing tools at a later video, but right now, as it relates to paths, this is a good way to kind of get introduced to them and see what the capabilities are with the tools that are in the game, which are pretty intense, and you can do a lot of things. So there's our crop circle design that we put and built out of paths, and then we can start doing some basic scenery things. Scenery in this game is really easy to use. There's a couple little quirks and things to keep in mind. So again, since we're talking about paths, we're going to click on your scenery option down here. We're going to go into Path Extras. Path Extras is going to open up this window, which gives you all the different options for garbage bins as well as bench types. Now, an important thing to keep in mind is bench types. If they do not have a backing on them, guests will sit down and face different ways. So if you put down this bench, for example, and your intent is to have your visitors sit and just look at this way, you will probably have some that do that, but then you're also going to get some that are going to sit down and face this way as well. So the way to prevent that or to fix that is to put down a bench that has a backing on it so that they can only face one way. A little trick that a lot of people don't realize until after they've put down all their benches, and then they're like, hey, why are all these people sitting the wrong way? Well, they're not really sitting the wrong way. There's no rules how to sit on the bench. You just happen to have it, so maybe people want to sit on it. The other cool thing is that they will sit off of the path. So if you have a smaller path like these areas here, I probably don't want to fill them up with these big benches and take up that real estate of that path space. So I can put them off to the side. They'll still use them, but as you can see now, we didn't eliminate a flow of where visitors and where guests can go into. So we're just going to do the same thing over on this side. And whoops, and again, Control Z to undo and put down our benches. The other thing that is a little wonky is that there's no snap tool to put this along the path. So you've got to kind of eyeball it or do what I do, and that is use the tools that are already in the game to help you gauge how to position them better. For an example, down here, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of these logs on both sides, perfectly spaced, perfectly even, directly across from each other. So in order for us to get these benches to line up perfectly even, we need to go to the third one on each side, right in between them, and place them down like that. So now we've got 2 benches that are down pretty much identical to where they are on both sides of the path. They do that a lot in the game. So you've got, for example, on this side over here, you've got these curbs on the side with these little markers here in the white section. Let me turn the pointer there off. Okay, so if you look here, you've got these little curbs. These things here, these are going to space out evenly so that you can line up different objects, different items as kind of like a ruler. Even though there's no grid system in here to build with the scenery objects, that does help with symmetry. Again, another example just to show you, going into the nature option, clicking on bushes. We're just going to put this down as a quick example. If we do one, we'll do one side that we're just going to eyeball it and think that we did a good job, and then the other one we're going to actually use the tools that are in here. So we'll say, that looks about good there. Sure, that looks good about there. That looks good about there, and that looks good about there. So okay, yeah, and that looks pretty good. Not gonna lie, it looks pretty good. But if we want to get it to look even better, we can go over here, holding down Z. Again, this is going to let you rotate. One thing to keep in mind when you're rotating is don't try to move your mouse up and down, because it's going to drive you crazy, because it's not going to move how you want it to, and you're going to do this and you're going to throw your mouse through your window. Instead, once you've got the Z key held down, just move your mouse to the left or to the right, and that's going to slowly, and that's going to allow you to have that precision control to place the object. So left and right. So we're going to put one there, left mouse click, and then we're going to look at our grid spacing here. So we've got one in the middle, one in the middle, rotate it a little bit so it's kind of lined up to how it was over there, and then we're going to put one more in the corner here, and then you can see how that has more symmetry and is aligned better than this one over here, which is still looked good, but it was a little wonky. So then again, if we want to do that same thing over here, we can do it a couple different ways. We can either move these into position, delete them, and do it all over, or we can create a blueprint, and which we'll cover more in detail later, and just copy them over. But in this case, we're just going to place them down again. So we did, let's see, and that was lined up around that first edge here, so right in between there, and right in between there, right in between, let's see, I think it was on the side here, and then we put one in the corner over here like so. So that's going to look pretty close to being symmetrical, and how evenly spaced using the tools that are in the game. You're going to have a couple of areas or a couple of issues that may crop up. One of them is this one here, and we can kind of see where it got thrown off. And this might have been because we went from a circular path to a square path, that we've got this weird extra block on this side, which kind of threw off our grid spacing using what's in the game. So again, easy fix. We can either choose to move this one over here. Pressing X once you've clicked on the object brings up the advanced move option. Using the tools here, you can do a drag to the left or drag to the right, and we're going to drag it kind of to there. Click the X to place it, and do the same thing down here. Now you're going to notice though that this one's kind of going off into this direction, and if we move it, it's going to kind of go at this angle, which we don't want it to do. We want it to be straight. We want it to go straight down or straight forward or straight back, and it's really easy fix to do that. All you have to do is select Use World Access, and that is going to, oops, and that's going to change. Oh, nope, just kidding. Why did that not work? Reset rotation. Use relative, use world access. Okay, so that did not work. Let me escape out of here, try that again. It's the first time that didn't work. Okay. Surface move. Huh, I don't know why I did that. That's interesting. That's actually never done that for me before. Oops. So we're just going to pick it up and manually move it over, and kind of eyeball that one to the best of our ability. And again, it's not perfect, but it's going to be pretty close, and we can precision control it again. And we're going to have to find out why the axis didn't move correctly. Okay. Anyways, there's our first little scenery item around our path. Looks really nice, looks really cool. we can add more details to it. So maybe we just want to put a bench in between these two. Maybe we want to put a bench over here on this side. And maybe we want to do the same thing on this again, just to give it that symmetry. And again on this side. Looks to be pretty close. Not perfect, but pretty close. And maybe we'll do one over here too. There's a lot of seating area. And we'll put in a couple trash cans because, you know, people got to throw away their trash. And again, we can choose to put it anywhere on the path that we want. The thing to remember in Planet Coaster is that the guests will avoid trash cans. So if you do decide to place them in the middle here, as an example, they will go around the trash can when they try to path find their way to, you know, through this section and into the next zone. You do not have advanced controls for these objects. So you'll have to move them manually, which just highlight them and press the M for move. And that just picks it up and allows you to move it into the position that you want. Once you've positioned it, left click it, and it is down and you're good to go. So again, guests will move, but again, you're saying, well, that doesn't really look super lined up correctly. It's not, but we're going to try to get it to the best that we can. And it might just be because it's not, I don't think I have this thing fully, I don't think it's super straight. There we go. Okay. So then if we place it down here, let's say, let's place it down there. That's pretty close. Not perfect again, but it's pretty close. So there's that. It could probably come down here a smidge. So the other thing to keep in mind is that you're in 3D space. You're in a XYZ scenario, so you've got X and Y axis as well as Z plane. Z plane is the is forward and back. X and Y is your left, right, up, and down. So sometimes when you think you've got something lined up correctly, looking at it from this perspective, yeah, it's going to look like it's lined up, you know, correctly. But as soon as you go into a vertical or a top-down view, as you can see here, this looks like it's a little bit off to the left, more so than what it should be to be completely even. So then we can go in and move it over here to the side like this. Again, we're just trying to eyeball it the best that we can. And from another angle, that looks pretty good, but now I think I may have moved it over just a little too much. Let's try that. All right, I'm happy with that. So again, you've got to look at it from all angles, because if you look at it from just the one, it's probably not going to be lined up correctly, and it's going to look really, really weird. So then the other thing you want to think about, you know, is what your park is going to look like at night, especially your paths. Sometimes people forget to put lights down, and not a big deal if you don't want to put lights down. You don't have to if you just want to play in the daytime. But I definitely enjoyed this game at night. I think the lighting in this game is just absolutely phenomenal. So what we're going to do is switch it over to PM. We're going to set the lighting to 10 PM so that it's darker out. And then we can do a couple different options with our light. We can do, you know, we can put down lanterns. We can put down these more of like fairy lights or Christmas lights. We can do these box lights. But we can do something really kind of basic and pretty for this area, which would be the iron square lamppost. It's kind of a softer light. Again, holding down the Z key and allows me to rotate. I could also hit the space bar like we did with our path tool, which will allow us to snap. So if we want it to be, you know, a 45-degree snap, just as an example, we can do that, and it will just move these different directions. Now, the other thing you're saying is, well, that's not perfectly even, and I want it to be, you know, lined up correctly. Easy fix. Escape out, click back into it. Angle snap is on. Holding down Z now, as you can see, the light is now perfectly level, perfectly even with where we want it to be. Put one on that side, put one on that side. Kind of do like a Central Park type of a look here. And we'll put another two right over here. And again, if we want to have these perfectly lined up, use the grids or use the tools that are in the game. So we could line it up here exactly with where that is. So let's, as an example, we'll place the first one down here, left mouse click. Actually, first I'm going to do X, which is going to give us the advanced control. Build. It's going to now place the object down, but it also put another one directly on top of it. So now we just move this straight across like this and place it. And then we escape, and now those are perfectly lined up, 100% even, dead on from any perspective that you look at it. And the props you can move in that plane, garbage cans you cannot, and I don't think you can do that with nope, you can't do that with those either. So the path tools, or the path extras, you can't move with those same commands or same controls. So just keep that in mind when you're building. So that's kind of, again, that's basic entry level. And this, again, this garbage can is still not centered, and it's making me freaking crazy. So let's, that looks better. Maybe it's just that this bush is kind of overhanging the edge a little bit, and maybe that's what's causing it to look off center. I don't know. Okay, again, I get a little bit obsessive with that kind of stuff. So this was a long video. I do apologize for as long as it was. I'm trying to keep these as short as possible, but there's a lot of information in here and a lot of useful tips and tricks for placing down paths and placing down objects on paths. And I just wanted to cover that for you this evening, and we will be back again with the next episode, which is going to be on placing our first ride and starting to theme the ride, or to put scenery or props around the ride, and what impact that has on your park and its guests. So thanks for tuning in. Again, I'm 3PM, 3P Music. You can find me on Reddit, Twitch, same username as 3P Music, also on the official forums of Planet Coaster, forums.planetcoaster.com. 3P Music is my name on there. You can also find me on YouTube, it's 3P Music, and Instagram is 3PM, Steam is 3PM, THREEPM, and then the other sites are 3P Music, number 3, letter P is in Paul, Music. So that is it for now. I hope you enjoyed, I hope you learned something. If you liked what you saw and you got something out of it, please like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel. I'm just getting started with these things. We'll get better. We'll get them tightened up a little bit more and more impactful, and we'll resume these tomorrow. Thanks for tuning in. Bye.